And here we have the lovely Bodhi coming in to join me. No, no, okay. No, he's not. He's going away today. So let's just start actually. I'd like you to place the cushion just between your knees and bring your feet quite close together. So I just want you to have something between your knees or your lower legs that's making you think about this, taking our midline squeeze all the way into the centre. So we're switching on those inside thighs. And then we're just going to take the arms all the way up to the ceiling and bring them back down again with some nice breathing. So naturally your breath will be in on the way up and out on the way down with those arms. So just listen to your natural breathing. Think about where your weight is on your feet. Lengthening the spine all the way through. And let's change the breathing around, and I'm sort of playing about a little bit. In fact, let's take some twiddles, finger twiddles, some weird spidery things as you're going up and down for the moment. Let's change the breathing round. So this is breath out as you take the arms up, breath in as you lower the arms and try and grow taller. Breath out, breath in. And my hands, I'm moving my hands and twiddling them around so much, my wrists are starting to ache, starting to get that sort of really warm sensation. Keep the squeeze going between the legs from the outside into the centre. Great, and then let's lose the twiddling, same breathing, out as you go up, in as you come down. But I want you to see how far you can rotate your arms this way first. So backwards if you like, thumbs are going to the behind me, up to the ceiling, and then turn the thumbs down and maybe take the hands slightly behind your back. So let's open out and then turn the thumbs down, but without letting those shoulders round forwards. Opening out, breath out, drawing the thumbs in, breath in. That works well. Let's change. Good, we're going to add a rise when you lower your arms. So breath out, breath in, breath out, lowering with control. Breath in, breath out, lowering with control. Breath in, and stay up. Breath out, breath in. Now flow with the arms a little bit more. Open, so now I'm leading with my elbows. So I've changed the position of the hands around actually, leading with the elbows. Now I'm going to bend my knees. In fact, I'm going to bend my knees as I reach the arms up. Breath out, breath in. If you can, stay with those heels up. Breath out, breath in. Breath out, in. Two more. Breath out. Keeping that cushion in place if you can, keeping those ankles in good alignment. That's the last one. And lower the heels and take that cushion away. Well done. Brilliant. Let's take the cushion up towards the ceiling. Let's take the feet nice and wide now. Shoulder width apart. And you're just, this is how reach is up. You can't quite see because my hands out of the picture. But I'm just holding onto one end and then taking it up towards the ceiling. So holding up and then lifting one corner and then the other corner. And again, if you haven't got a cushion, it's not the end of the world. You would just do this without. Reaching up, trying to touch the ceiling. So we're lengthening that spine, lifting the rib cage off of the hips. Then we're just going to bring the cushion down onto top of our head. Hold it at the sides, at the corners, and just sort of pull it apart a little bit. And then let's take our side bends from here. So just having something like the cushion, it's a nice prop to make your mind just be a little bit more aware of some things. So what I quite like about this, where I'm able to pull the cushion apart, so as in both sides, I'm trying to sort of open it in the middle if you like. That's giving me a bit of more awareness than I would normally have of the muscles around my shoulder blades when I'm doing this one. And then I'm thinking about lifting the top of my head lifting it up to meet that cushion. although I'm actually not, I'm just squashing my hair down at the moment. Good, and then let's take an upper body roll around, quite gently at first. So we would normally do this with our hands at the back of the head, but think about almost from above, changing direction after 3 or so, thinking about from above the circle, the shape that that cushion is making, seen from above. Or if you haven't got a cushion, just the top of your head. So if you haven't got a cushion, you could just have fingertips to temples, and it's the top of your head and your arms and your elbows and the shoulder girdle. It's all sort of moving as one unit. Great, and now I'm getting a bit more warmed up. Make sure you're breathing nice and freely. I can go a little bit bigger, but I'm thinking about moving just from the rib cage upwards. Yeah. Great, and relax there, wonderful. Let's take a roll down. So let's reach the cushion or your hands up towards the ceiling. Bring the cushion down past your face to highlight your awareness of what's happening as you bring your eye line down. You take the chin onto the chest, the shoulders round forward. So we've got a nice wide-legged roll down here. I'm going to take the cushion all the way down to the floor. I'm going to let my head relax and my knees soften. Stay there, stay down. Everything is relaxed, and just straighten and bend your legs 2 or 3 times. When you straighten the legs, you are breathing out, getting that nice stretch on the hamstrings, and then with soft knees, roll up with that nice bit of extra added weight from holding onto the cushion to come all the way up to the top. Let's just reach the cushion forwards and up to the ceiling, and again, lifting up. Allow your shoulders to lift up a tiny bit, and then just bend the arms. Notice that the shoulders drop down. Try and peer over the top of the cushion as it comes past. Good, let the cushion hang, let your arms hang. Chin onto the chest, keep that belly button in tight, keep the pelvis in neutral. Keep your weight over the middle of your feet. Hang from your waist all the way down. Let's stay with the legs bent and the legs nice and wide. Let your head hang, just nod your head, shake your head. So try not to look up at the camera. I'm going to try and explain what I'm doing without the need for you to have a look, because that's going to potentially crook your neck. So just hang. My knees are bent. I'm hanging in the middle. I've got hold of the cushion still. I'm going to reach the cushion forwards onto the floor in front of me, but I'm not putting any weight into it. I'm going to bring it back to my feet. Nothing has changed apart from reaching that cushion out and then bringing it back. And again, last one, reach it out and leave it there. And just place your hands on top of the cushion. Try and keep your arms there. You'll reach forwards a little bit. I'm just having a tiny wiggle from, I'll sort of transfer the weight from side to side slightly. Just enough so that my ear touches my inside of my arm. And then keep the hands there. There's no weight on the hands. You just got your hands on top of the cushion. And again, try and straighten the legs as you breathe out and then breathe in to soften the knees. Breathe out and breathe in. Hamstring length, really, really important. And then after that third one, knees are bent. Bring the cushion back into the centre. Let the arms relax. Just hold on to that cushion as you roll all the way up. Feel the extra weight, push the pivot bone forwards to unravel your spine all the way to come back up. Hopefully you were able to follow that with me. Brilliant. We have got some chest and back lift. This time I'm just going to take the cushion behind my back. So I'm going to go sideways. So pretty much feet the same sort of width apart, shoulder width apart. And I've just got the cushion here, right on my butt. And I'm going to start by drawing the cushion down and opening up my chest. Lifting up, looking up to the ceiling, but not dropping the head back, just opening up. And again, this could be done just holding on to both hands. I find that quite difficult, so it's probably better for me, actually, personally, to do it without the cushion, but it's quite comfortable, this size cushion. So I'm going to pull my arms down, open up the front of the chest, and then I'm going to stick my bottom out, bend my knees, keep that upper back beautifully arched and lifted until the head hands down at the end. And now I'm focusing on keeping the cushion in contact with my hips, and I'm rounding my back, and I'm very aware of lifting that upper back all the way up to the top. And when I've got to the top, I've got the arms bent. So let's do 4 more of those. So we're taking the arms down, we're opening up that chest, bending the knees, arching the back. Feel your whole spine unravelling. When you're down at the bottom, your head is hanging, those shoulders relax. Tuck under, scoop that belly button in nice and tight, come all the way up to the top. Here we go, 2, 3 more I think. All the way down and unravel. If this is too big a movement for you, if you don't feel maybe warmed up enough, then don't go so far. Lose the cushion if it's annoying you. I think that was the last one. Good job. Okay. Great. Let's lose the cushion for a moment, just because we've got some rotations. So starting with keeping the feet same sort of position, let's pop the hands on the shoulders. For hula hoop overlap. So imagine there's a hula hoop around the level of your shoulders. Your elbows are just brushing the insides of that hula hoop. And so there's an overlap at the front and the back where both elbows will overlap, because that's how much we're rotating. And in order for that to happen, if you're thinking about it and you're thinking that I'm not overlapping at all, you might not be moving shoulders, hips and ankles enough. So try and get that overlap. It's sort of the test for this. And in the meantime, my spine is really upright. There's no leaning from side to side. There's no transference of weight from side to side. Great, let's keep the movement going-ish and think about drawing a circle with your elbow going backwards. I say ish because it just doesn't feel the same, but essentially you are doing the same. If you sort of took your arms out, your body is still doing this. You're just circling the arms backwards. And then I'm going to come forwards a little bit. We're going to extend the arms, and it's the same thing. Rotating around the spine. Great. Good. Keep those arms nice and long. And we're coming into our front crawl. Rotating ankles, hips, shoulders. Can't go too far back. And then let's shorten that lever. Go into your elbows again. The temptation when you're doing elbows is to move your body more, your torso more. So try and remain upright. Getting all my words all mixed up today. Good, and then the grand finale. Let those arms hang. Let them just be really relaxed. Let them thwack the body at the end of the movement. I haven't said that for a little while. And you're going to finally add on to that by looking behind you. If you've got something vaguely interesting to look at, I'm sure it's going to be more interesting than my plain white wall, just check what you can see both sides. Establish your tighter side, go a little bit more to that tighter side. Well done. Great, okay. We've got quite a lot of balancing leg work coming up. So here we go. So we're going to start with holding the cushion quite close and pulling the edges apart. If you haven't got a cushion, you're here. So I wanted to replicate that same sort of movement. The idea here is as you do that movement, you're switching on the muscles around your shoulder blades in your back. So we're pulling apart. And then just facing forwards, come back a little bit. Let's just start with the feet hip width apart, so not completely together, and lifting one knee up. So actually keep the cushion, if you've got a nice square one like me, keep it sort of in the middle of your torso. So the middle of the cushion is sort of my belly button, and maybe lift the knee or the thigh up to meet the cushion. So elbows are out to the side, shoulders are down, Now I'm noticing, I should probably have gone too wide actually. Try and stay hip width apart. I went quite wide then, and what I found was my knee was crossing over to my midline. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to cheat. So hip width apart. If actually this cushion is perfect for what I'm after, and I should be bringing my knees up to the corners, not trying to bring it into the middle. So yeah, so I'm lifting, and it's partly a habit, but it also makes it easier if you come across that midline, or come across towards the midline. So you've got to transfer over fully into that standing leg. And then I also want the lifting knee to be opposite the corner of your cushion. You might find one leg is more badly behaved than the other, shall we say. Okay, so we're going to add on to this. So lifting one knee, holding that there. We're going to take our rotation just towards that leg with the cushion, noticing, you know, elbows are out to the side. You'll go a little bit further than you would do if you were holding up, touching your ribs or something, but that's fine. Come back to the centre, swap sides. Nice and square, and rotate, and lower, and again. Centre, rotate, centre. Try and finish with that knee opposite your hip. Same as we would do if we were on the floor. All good muscle memory, all interesting how it differs in one position to another, but essentially doing the same sort of stuff. But interesting how the effect of the gravity has on it. Okay, we're adding on to this. We are going lifting, rotating, lifting, swinging and reaching, and lifting and lowering. Here we go on the other side. I've got a stray hair that's really bugging me. So we're lifting, we're rotating, just the upper body, coming back to face forwards, swing that leg back, hinge over your standing hip, reach the cushion forward, sweep it forward, ideally cushion and foot, roughly on a diagonal, nice diagonal line, and lower. Here we go, 4 more of these. Lift, rotate, come back to centre, and we're there. And lift and lower. Keep swapping sides, rotate, and swinging back. 2 more, lift, rotate, centre. So if you haven't got the cushion, you're just sweeping your arms forwards. Last one of this variety. We're there, and upright and lower. Brilliant. Okay. A nice balancing one, which I normally do when we've got the ball. You're going to be doing a similar movement to what we've just done, but you're going to lift one leg, you're going to take the cushion or just touch one hand to the other underneath the knee. You're going to stay on one leg, in fact I'm going to go on my other leg. So you're, I'm going this way. Taking the cushion under the knee, changing the cushion into your other hand, sweeping that leg behind, changing the cushion behind the standing leg, staying on the same leg. So you could cheat, we could cheat. An easier, slightly easier version of this would be to have a toe touching the floor. You lift, you just lift that knee up as high as you can, nice and upright. Touch the floor, then you switch back, change the cushion, change hands under and all behind, and under and behind. And I feel like I'm drawing a figure of 8 with the cushion. So without the cushion, touch hands, touch hands. You've got the cushion, gives your brain something else to think about. Your standing leg should be feeling some nice, strong work. Let's work this a tiny bit more if you can. Straight leg. standing leg, really upright. Lift this knee as high as you can, underneath. Now hinge back. Now straighten the back leg. Tuck your chin in a little bit. Can you get a little bit lower? Can you try and get that thigh on your chest? We're lifting. Oh, it's tough on the balance. And lifting, changing that cushion. There's only one touching of the hands or changing of the cushion. Well, there's two in each figure of 8. One there and one there. How are we doing? 4 more. 3. Oh, I'm losing it. 2. And last one. And oh, nice little workout on that buttock. Okay, going to the other side. Come on, let me stay here a bit. Here we go. So underneath and behind. Draw your figure of 8. So get the movement going first, get the coordination. Then start thinking about your back. Does the shape of your back change? Absolutely not. Make sure when you're pitching forwards that you tuck the chin in. We have a tendency, and I do doing it as well, to keep that chin too lifted. Now, as I'm starting to get tired, and I'm starting to feel my standing leg is working and getting a little bit sore, now I'm really going to focus on the technique there. Straight standing leg. Lift the other knee up as high as you can. Bend the standing leg. Get your chest over your thigh. Sweep the moving leg. Sweep it out behind you. Haven't had to, oh, no, not going to say that. I'll say it at the end, maybe. So hips and shoulders square to your front. Let's have 4 more. Ah! I was going to say I haven't had to touch the floor on this side, and then I did. 3 more. 2. And 1. And... okay, well done. Give those legs a bit of a shake. Okay, tiny bit more stamina work. Last thing before we have a nice stretch out. So hopefully heart rate is getting up a little bit. Legs will definitely be nice and warm, and they're going to then appreciate that wonderful stretch. 1 leg forwards, 1 leg back for a static lunge. In fact, let's do some static lunges first of all. Hold the cushion on top of your head or fingertips to temples if you need to. So I'm standing at the front of my yoga mat, alternating backward lunges. So if you can, 2 90-degree angles of the legs. You're brushing that back knee on the floor. If you can, toes and knees allowing. An easier version would be to have some support next to a wall or a chair. Maybe not to bend as low, but make sure that your chest is upright, your torso is upright. Ignore me if you're still doing the full version, you're here. So you have to go a little bit further back than you thought. Push down through that front heel to come forwards. Good, and then the movement is, we're going to stay in a static lunge. So we're not moving anywhere. You're not quite as low as we just were. You're trying not to fall over, Mandy. Your feet and knees are hip width apart. Don't go too narrow, you'll really struggle to balance. Legs are bent, the weight is in the middle. My spine is in the middle. We're going to take that figure of 8 again, either holding onto the cushion or just clasping your hands loosely. Big drop down, drawing the circle at one side of your body and then the other side of the body. One side and the other. And here we go. So we did this on the chair on Wednesday and it felt absolutely amazing. It's nice, this is much harder because I haven't got a lovely chair to sit on, and so I don't have to think about my lower body, but now you're having to stabilise as well. Okay, I'm starting to get tired. I'm going to reverse my figure of 8. It goes up and under, up and under, up and under like you're doing an underarm bowl. And I'm really keeping those hips still. 4 more, 4, 3, 2, notice I'm getting faster, and oopsie, 1, stay there if you can. Just reaching the arms forwards or reaching the cushion forwards, tuck that pelvis under even more. Get that really strong stretch at the front of your hips. Pitch the weight slightly forwards and try and straighten that back leg. I say try because it won't fully straighten, it might do, but just to really increase that stretch at the front of the groin. And then if you can, maybe lift the arms up. Just relax the head down. Oh, the great news is we've got all that to do on the other side. Hurrah. Okay, here we go. So, static lunge, nicely in the middle, weight equally weighted, hips and shoulders square to the front. And we're taking, so this is the regular way of doing your figure of 8. The fairly natural way. So hips and shoulders, sorry, not hips and shoulders, hips and legs are staying where they were, facing forwards. Keeping the back nice and upright, and then we're using as much rotation in that upper body as you can. Brilliant. Let's change direction. Up to the top, underarm bowl, up to the top, underarm bowl. My head is slightly following. I'm keeping it fairly far forwards because otherwise it makes it much harder to balance. Starting to get really out of breath now. Let's take 4 more sets. 4, 3, 2, and last 1, and then into those stretches for your hip flexors. Just legs bent, tuck the pelvis under first of all. It should be a really strong stretch, the front of that hip, and then try and straighten that back leg. So when you extend this stretch, it feels like the stretch is wrapping around the groin almost. Lifting the arms up. I'm pulling the cushion apart a little bit, just holding on to the end with thumbs and forefinger. Letting the head relax down. Great. Okay. For the moment, let's lose the pesky pillow. Cushion even. And let's turn the legs out. So we're going to take our stretches. I'm going to go along use the length of my yoga mat before we go down to the floor. So let's go nice and wide with the legs. Turn them out in the hip socket. Heels on the same line. Make sure the knees are going over the toes when you bend the knees for a ballet plie. Spine is upright. There's no change. As you get more into it, as you relax a little bit into it, try and just breathe. Let's take the breathing we did at the beginning, or just take, sorry, the arms we did at the beginning, arms up and arms down. So this is the second type of arms, backs of hands together at the top. If you have a mirror in front of you, check for symmetry. Breath out. Breath in, grow tall, breath out, breath in, breath out. 1 more of these. We're going to stay down this time, breath out. We're going to bring those elbows on the insides of the knees and push them back. And this is a very, very strong stretch all along the inside of the groin. and it never really gets any easier. It's not a particularly comfortable stretch, it's not meant to be, and I'm just moving a little bit from side to side. Breathing, make sure you're breathing nice and deeply. And then if you can, take your hands down to the floor, straighten your legs and turn your feet into parallel. So push those heels out. Hips are nice and parallel. From there, just hang from your waist. So just let your upper body drop down to the floor. So feet are really quite wide. Hanging from the floor. If you can, hold on to one elbow with the opposite hand. Or if that's fairly easy for you, try and get the crown of your head down to the floor, the top of your head onto the floor. Try and hinge from your hips. If you're only here, if you've only got your fingertips touching, that's absolutely fine. If you're up a little bit more, just try and relax. Breathe. And now let's turn the toes out a little bit to the sides. Keep the weight on your hands underneath your shoulders and move from one side to the other, bending one leg and straightening the other leg. And noticing the bobbly bits in your rug. So there. Good, we're going to turn. We're just going to take 4 of these. I just want you to move, keep moving, keep flowing. Turn to one side, adjust the position of your legs, your feet, your ankles, your knees. When you get to that side, maybe take a little rock backwards and forwards. You know what all this stuff is now. Just go with whatever you feel today. Don't worry too much about what I'm doing. So I've put my back knee down. You can pull those toes up. You can reach and look away from the screen. Try and touch the ceiling. You could then thread the needle through. You could take the back knee down. You could take your elbows, both elbows, towards the floor. If you're doing this one, try and keep the elbows on the same level. So you might not be able to get them down to the floor, but just come to here. When you do that, from that position, hold it, move around a little bit. And then let's swap to the other side. Try and repeat similar stuff on the other side. So first of all, I'm moving backwards and forwards. Then I put my back knee down. When I stretch back here, I'm trying to stretch the backs of my legs, going through the foot, lifting up towards the ceiling, rotating, dropping the hips down, back leg is straight, threading through. There's your rotation again. Back knee down, maybe, elbows down. Try and get them equally weighted. Very easy to be over on the one that's furthest away from that foot, especially if the hips are a little bit tight. You might just be here, it's absolutely fine with the elbows, just as long as the elbows are level, that's great. Let's do one more. Turn to the other side, turn back to your first side, and this time I'd just like you to tuck your knee in behind you. So I'm releasing this foot. You might need to have a little look at this. I'm releasing the back foot and I'm bringing it, so I've gone down to the top of my foot, then my shin, and then I've just sat back. I've just sat and across and over onto this hip. Then I'm going to come back onto the front foot, extend, and twiddle around to the other side. So you've got that long leg behind you. You're just taking all the weight forwards onto your front foot, coming down onto the foot. I'm crossing the knee in behind my other leg, but it doesn't have to be there, it can be here. That's absolutely fine. And then just roll across onto that hip, so you're sideways, come away from it, stretch the leg out, and come back to the centre.